I just looked him dead in the eye and I said, "No, you swallow."
Yeah.
Because you see, it was his first time trying mussels, and he just, he wasn't sure. Texture throws you off.
Could have been worse. It could have been oysters.
Yeah, true.
Oysters are slippery little buggers.
They are indeed. So anyway, the night ended with me going back to his place and filleting him.
Yeah.
Oh, hi everybody. You are listening to
Tales of Chris's Sordid Past.
Past? Future.
Oh.
You're listening to Big Damn Sordid Past with me, Christopher. You unlock this door with the key to... you screwed it up, Johnson.
And me, Matthew, I've got a brand new combine harvester and I'll give you the key, Watson.
One of those was a euphemism.
Hmm.
One of them was someone getting their line wrong. Who was that band again? Who did?
The Wurzels?
The Wurzels. Right, so, question. You've been in a band?
Yeah.
You've obviously considered, style and song choices and lyrics and stuff and how it can affect sort of the longevity of a potential project.
Yeah.
Or a potential, a band getting together and stuff. If you were to suddenly decide that you were a West Country music, you can sing about tractors.
Yeah.
Would you realistically think you had more than one novelty song in you?
No.
Because I've never understood that. Because, out now is a film in the UK about Port Isaac's Fisherman's Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Which, Lucy loves Port Isaac Fisherman. She thinks they're brilliant. I think they're very talented. But I listen to 2 songs in a row and I go, this is the same song now. There's only so much you can really do with that sound.
It's like how much... if you have a band that's built around a novelty, a gimmick,
the
how
cartoons.
far can you go with it?
The cartoons is another example. Aqua, less so. They were more bubblegum pop. But their entire thing was quirky video, quirky premise.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
They ditched eventually, I think.
Cheeky Girls, again, same sort of thing. How long can you go on with these things?
The Cheeky Girls aren't a music act as much as a novelty single.
Hey.
They are a novelty
cheeky.
Single. Just,
You're definitely not a cheeky boy then, are you?
I'm not a cheeky boy.
See,
no one
if you'd have
touches
touched
my
that...
bum.
Well, but this is life.
No, it isn't.
Don't be shy.
It's just fantasy.
Caught in a landslide. No escape from the news!
The news!
Ladies and gentlemen... News and nudes. One of those is guaranteed over the next hour or so of podtastic entertainment. Yes. As usual, we're here with pop culture bullshit. As you'll notice from the title and thingy title and thumbnails of this podcast, Twilight Zone is a subject. Will we review it? No, because the UK don't have it yet. But we have some Twilight Zone stuff to discuss. So stick around. We're also going to be talking a little bit about developments with the Child's Play movie.
Yep.
What else are we touching on this week?
We've got some...
Cheeky Girls, apparently.
Cheeky Girls?
Yeah. We've got the Cheeky Girls!
We've got some more rumblings about future Marvel projects.
Yeah.
And, of course, the big news this week in the entertainment the entertainment industry.
The entertainment vessel.
So, there's been some leaks from Star Wars Episode 9.
Well...
Specifically,
a plumber in, haha.
What looks like a early poster. It doesn't have a title on it. But...
that was the thing about it. It was a leaked poster, but a leaked poster with no confirmation of the title of the movie.
But new characters on it.
Yes.
Which are...
Including a fishy-looking fella.
Yes. Which I believe is a placeholder for the final design.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yes.
So this is a leaky leak. And the reason this has been seen as a legitimate leak and not fictional is the fact that on several news sites, Disney have requested takedowns of the material.
And also...
But it's the internet, folks, so it's out there.
There are character portraits knocking about.
Yeah, now these I've seen.
Also.
Yeah.
You've seen the poster, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so we've
Very reminiscent of the previous two, continuing on with the... sort of the pyramid of characters sort of thing going on.
Rey at the front, Rey at the top,
Kylo at the bottom.
Kylo at the bottom.
Helmet back on.
Helmet on.
Yeah. Some red stormtroopers with the split visors.
Yep. Some regular stormtroopers and TIE Interceptor looking TIE Fighters and the Knights of Ren, Millennium Falcon, we got Finn, we got Poe, we got C-3PO with a bowcaster and a bandolier on, so that's a thing.
The Heckington. Is Chewie wearing his solo bandolier now? So like the stripped down belt thing instead of his usual just like across the chest gubbins.
No, I think that looks like his bandolier. Like his classic bandolier.
His Clasoyek bandolier.
Yeah. So
por favor, yes.
We've got a fish dude. We've got the orange TIE Fighter, and what looks like a new Y-wing. So yeah,
but
we've
Y-wing
got some stuff. And then we've got some individual character portraits. We've got Rey in her new white outfit with what looks like a reconstructed version of the old lightsaber.
Yes, yeah. Again, it's like, wait, it's the Bluey? But
she's
the Bluey's gone kablooey.
Finn and Poe looking very Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I noticed that. He just sort of is cosplaying as Drake's Fortune.
Yeah.
Like, sort of
big
era
scarf.
Drake.
It's like, maybe we should do that. Old man Lando with a cane.
Old Melando.
Because Billy Dee Williams is an old man.
He is, guys. But he's also sporting the colour scheme of the Solo Lando.
Yes.
Like the yellow shirt, black collar. Which is interesting.
And I believe that is definitely a visual thing to be like, oh yeah, this is people who may not have seen... Young people who may not have seen the original trilogy.
Which is that old movie called Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah. Well, that's what they do on YouTube now. They've got those little shorts.
Where did you get this kid?
Those little animated shorts on YouTube that sort of restage the
key events in the trilogy.
Key moments in the older movies. Zori, who is a helmeted, apparently female figure who is rumoured to be the Kerry Russell character.
Okay.
This Kerry Russell definitely isn't on this poster in terms of her face, so... and then Jana, who I don't know who's playing Jana, but she's a person with a bow.
And has fabulous hair.
Fabulous hair. Yeah, and we've got like some creatures and reference photos for different designs of people. Richard E. Grant is a First Order officer.
Oh, I'm kind of upset by that in a weird way.
Yeah, a new, like a unicycle droid. Looks like it's going to be BB-8's sidekick.
Wait, BB-8 has a sidekick?
Looks like it. On the poster they're together.
Is BB-8 the dude that Kat Dennings BB-8 now has a dude that Kat Dennings dragged around in Thor 2.
Yeah.
Where the sidekick had a sidekick and it was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why is this a thing?
Look, they're there. They're together on the poster.
That's so strange.
Yeah, it's...
Finn dressed exactly the same, pretty much.
Yeah.
Still wearing Poe's jacket.
Difficult to tell. I don't think so.
If he ain't wearing Poe's jacket...
I think it's sleeveless.
Right, that's it. I'm boycotting the film. If this film doesn't end with those two just making out, I'll be very sad.
Remake. Yeah, he's got some kind of sleeveless jacket on.
No Rose Tico.
No Rose.
Amongst any of this stuff. Kelly Marie Tran is definitely in the movie. So is the character story being downplayed, or is she written out as a consequence of her actions at the end of Last Jedi toward the beginning, perhaps?
Who knows? Who knows? It's difficult to say too much going off this, because I think I think it's similar to the Sonic the Hedgehog leak we had a few weeks back, where this is like probably in-house pre-release stuff,
and everyone's got muscular blue legs.
Yes. No, it's not final. It's style guide stuff for merchandising, so who knows?
It's whoever they're marketing the film off of, basically. So characters that are appearing are the ones they're hoping to sell the toys of.
Yeah.
And again, we have no beef, nor indeed bad thoughts toward Kelly Marie Tran or indeed Rose Tico. But they don't need to sell any more Rose Tico toys.
No, because even Man Skyver's bought them already, figured him.
Oh, God, yeah, there's that.
But he's made this character more popular by hating her.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh,
what a prick.
That tends to happen. Hey, you guys who really, really wanted Captain Marvel to flop? Yeah, it definitely did that. Oh, wait, no, it didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Second highest grossing Marvel film, I believe. I think it's just pipped Black Panther.
I can believe that.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Fuckos! Fuck you!
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, what are we thinking?
I'm thinking
of the various looks and
looks
snippets
cool.
that we seem to have.
Star Wars ass looking Star Wars going on.
Star Wars ass looking Star Wars.
So, it's definitely...
Similar colour scheme to Last Jedi. Lots of whites and sort of silvery and rose gold silvery textures instead of the reds.
I don't know, you got the red stormtroopers though.
Yeah, that's true. That is odd. So, normally they try and make them visually... Well, I say normally. The prequel trilogy didn't. Every poster looked the same, but they tried to make them look visually distinct.
No, I think the red stormtroopers probably could be some kind of extension of the Imperial Guard, Praetorian Guard, whatever you want to call them. Those various incarnations of that.
And I find it really interesting that there's no Adam Driver face on the poster. Like Kylo is helmeted again. When Adam Driver is clearly one of your big selling points now for newer fans who love the newer characters.
I think Kylo is more of a selling point. And like
for the kids, for kids especially.
Well, that's what I mean. I think this is for merchandising.
Oh, okay.
So,
the
if it's like style guide for merchandising, promotional images, then you go with that. Which is why you've got more new characters on here. No Rose, no Princess Leia, General Leia.
Yeah, that is an odd one. Like, is Lando on the poster image?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, okay. Because the rumour is his stuff is quite minimal.
I'd imagine so, because like I say, Billy Dee Williams is fucking old.
I can also,
love him, but
I can
he's fucking old.
Understand why there's no Luke on any of the images as well. Because we know Hamill's in it.
It'll be some kind of Force Ghost or flashback, so...
Well, he does get around as old Marcius Hamulius.
Apparently so.
Um...
Voice actor extraordinaire.
Yeah, known
Mark
for having a
Hamill.
wonderfully maniacal laugh. And famous for many things, but amongst them for voicing Chucky in a 2005 Robot Chicken sketch where he gets killed by the Cabbage Patch Kids as they rise from a cabbage patch like zombies, and then they attack town, and then Buffy the Vampire Slayer takes them out, and it cuts to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Sarah Michelle Gellar talking to a friend in a cafe. She says, and that's how they were going to open season 8. And she goes, oh, God, no wonder you quit. And that's the end of the sketch. But that sketch starts with Mark Hamill voicing Chucky. That was like, oh, that's a fun bit of casting. That was kind of cute.
Yeah.
He does a few voices in this ep, and one of them is as Chucky. It's a fun Brad Dourif impression.
Yeah.
Yeah, he better not be doing a Brad Dourif impression anymore, motherfuckers, because he's got to put his own stamp on Chucky. Child's Play had a panel at WonderCon this past week.
Yes.
And at WonderCon, they showed a video, little message from one of their cast members revealing themselves to be the voice of Chucky in the new Child's Play movie.
Is it this video here?
It is indeed that video there.
Let's play it.
Let's have a little listen.
I've not seen it.
Hello, WonderCon. It's here. And if you're wondering who's going to voice Child's Play,
you're
looking at him. I can't wait to bring such an iconic life and present him in a way you've never seen him be. Child's Play.
Oh my God, it's skipping through.
We're going to have, and remember,
oh God,
he's more than just a toy.
Oh my God, it skipped through the whole thing multiple times. Well, that's Mark Hamill sort of announcing that he is
That's
Chucky.
even creepier.
Yeah, in a weird
The
way.
fact that it's skipping is even creepy. It's like a glitching video.
That would be really... April Fools, motherfuckers.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. If this was an actual emergency, instructions would have followed. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. Every time they use that in a film,
yeah,
and it's an actual emergency, you just get the test message.
Yeah.
That's weird!
I've recorded sort of emergency protocol links in the past for children's BBC. Yeah, you hand over to Newsround, because Newsround would be the ones who would contextualise it for child audiences if it indeed wasn't a immediate emergency, but like a preparation thing. You record a series of them with different tones. You wear muted colours. You pick a certain area of the set to film on that isn't too garish or bright or zany. And it's just like a 20-second link where you essentially say, we're sorry for that programme having to be cut short, but we've had some news that is what needs to be brought to your immediate attention. For more information, here are the Newsround team with a special report. And you have to sort of say it not in a, in a stern, like, listen up, this is serious kind of way.
Neutral.
Yeah, you record several, all slightly different wording, and they go from you saying it quite pleasantly, like, sorry about having to interrupt the programme, but we're coming at this on the other, well, here's Newsround for a special message.
Yeah.
To, like, the sort of slightly preparing for bad news kind of version. It's like, we now cut to Newsround with a special report. where you're not sad, but you're also...
You're very serious.
The kids get that, there's something going down. And I've done that about 6 times for CBBC in the 4+ years I was doing continuity.
Have they ever been used?
Oh, they were never
Not
used.
yours, obviously.
They were never used, but they have to film them like once every 2 years-ish. And even then, they'd update them if the sets had changed. Because obviously, branding. And format. Sometimes the formatting of program stuff and digital stuff changes, so they have to make updated ones just in case. And also, Phil told me this once. Phil Fletcher's puppeteer, plays the role of Hacker the dog. Sorry, young listeners, he's a puppet.
He's a puppet.
Yeah. Once told me that one of the earliest Hacker puppets was sent to a studio space somewhere in London where they do emergency broadcast stuff from there in case of certain events. So that if CBBC needed to do something from there or needed to relocate for whatever reason and go to there, they could do it. We're like, wait, right, few questions.
That's
one,
fascinating.
If a nuclear fallout happened, why the hell would we all be teaming up to do live TV? 2,
well, you got to keep the populace subjected. Subjugated.
2, why on earth would we risk our lives going down to a location in London if something a big emergency size had happened that would probably require us to stay, whether we were contracted or not, with our fucking loved ones in a different part of the country because we wouldn't want to leave them? And point number 3, that old Hacker will be rat-ass by now. So even if it appeared on air, it would look like he'd been caught in a nuclear explosion.
Well, it's appropriate.
No, it's a puppet.
Hey! And that brings us back to Child's Play.
And his mind. So, no sign of Chucky talking in this footage we've seen so far.
No.
The AI thing was being played up, but Mark Hamill being the voice suggests to me that this Chucky's going to have a personality, and obviously an older thing. It's not like you've hired someone to play a doll voice.
No, what if, right?
Yeah.
Get this.
Oh.
Mark Hamill is playing Mark Hamill, who's been hired to provide the bass voice for the buddies.
I'm not even kidding. That would be next level genius. Because it would then completely separate it from the OG, and it would be in its own weird little thing. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be revealed that Charles Lee Ray, or a version of that character, is very much in this film. Hamill's playing him. There's a voodoo, if not like a mind mapping thing going on.
Oh, like that Johnny Depp movie that everyone hated.
Which one was that one?
Where he's like uploads himself into the computer.
Transcendence.
Yes.
Yeah. How can I remember the name of that, but I can't remember the name of like my 5th cousin?
You only got room for 4.
Because I don't have a 5th cousin.
Hey!
More on that later. So,
What, more on your 5th cousin that you don't have?
Or do I? I loves me some Child's Play. We've talked about this before on the podcast.
Really?
I'm not like usually excited about the remake, but I'm really curious. However, if you are going to have a new Chucky, and you are going to obviously cast a new voice actor to perform him, because getting Brad Dourif wouldn't make sense. It'd be like getting James Earl Jones to play Mufasa in a remake of The Lion King. Oh, wait, they're doing that. That's weird.
Yeah.
So strange.
That Dumbo movie's out.
Yeah. It's apparently a load of shit.
Yeah.
So
we're not going to see it.
There we go.
There we go. That's your Dumbo review for the Big Damn Cast.
Apparently the mouse, I can't remember his name, is it Timothy? The mouse is in it. Briefly, you see him in a cage.
Timothy Chalamet.
With like his little hat on or whatever. You see him in a cage. And there's the cameo of the character from the film. His best mate from the original that takes care of him is in a cage in this one.
That sounds unfortunate.
Pink Elephants on Parade isn't an alcohol sequence. It's just like a light and balloon and double show as part of the big circus. Weak ass Burton.
I hate it.
Weak ass.
I hate it.
And Keaton's performance is like completely polarised people. Some are saying, oh yeah, he's really slimy and sinister and he's great. And others are saying, I can see what he's trying to go for and it just doesn't work in this format. It's like, oh. A rare miss for Keaton.
Also,
for modern day Keaton.
Eva Green is Tim Burton's new Helena Bonham Carter, right?
Yeah. And if that means more Eva Green in more movies, cool. I like Eva Green a lot.
And it was Lisa Marie before it was Helena Bonham Carter, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was she
Winona
like...
for a bit.
Winona.
Yeah.
I think
Michelle Pfeiffer's been his on and off as well. She's popped in and out of his works.
Yeah. He's definitely got a
thing for...
He's got a type for muses.
Yeah.
Like,
slightly crazy ladies.
Slightly odd women.
Femme fatales who are also nutballs. In terms of that being like their sort of roles that they fit perfectly. Oh god. Bunny boilers without the boiling of the bunny.
Okay.
But I just... Hamill's a good choice.
He is a good choice. Regardless of what the context is, really.
I am worried, however. I am worried that Chucky's going to sound just adjacent of the Joker.
Mm.
That's
probably why they've cast him.
But that would upset me, because that's the wrong way
He
to
probably
go
won't
about
want
it.
to do that, but they'll probably push him into that with notes.
Because as we know, he can do a movie that he's not exactly happy with. He's kind of made it clear since Last Jedi that the points he made pre-Last Jedi about him not agreeing with the story direction personally were indeed true. Like, that's how he still feels now.
But the man's a fucking professional.
Yeah, he's a professional. He respected Rian Johnson's vision and he told that story. And he obviously did a bit of a press 180 and being like, it's great, I love it, it's fantastic. And then afterwards he's like, yeah, I made it clear before what I thought of the direction of Luke's character. I wasn't happy with it myself, but I think Ryan told a great story and I was happy to be a part of it, is how he's basically talking about it now. It's like, that's a professional, well done.
Professional, balanced.
But it'll be interesting to see if after Child's Play comes out, and that indeed might be the case with the voice, if he's like, yeah, they kind of told me I needed to do it that way, and that's what they've gone with.
So...
But he's also a big genre fan.
He is a big genre fan.
And a big nerd, so... I don't know. We'll see. I think it's... If they were like... If the original series wasn't continuing and Brad Dourif was no longer with us, and you were like, we need a new Chucky, we're going to have Mark Hamill, I'd go, that is a great inspired choice.
Maybe the original series isn't continuing, though.
It is.
I know it is.
Son.
I know it is. At the moment. I'm just saying, what if it doesn't?
There is something that could kill it, and that is if this remake is one of the two extremes. If this remake of Child's Play is utter garbage, that could kick the Universal produced Chucky TV series out the way.
Yeah.
Because Universal might go, oh, this brand's damaged goods now.
Poison Chalice.
Yeah. If it is super well received and instantly gets a sequel greenlit, Universal might go, right, we don't want to get mixed up in that. This is going to be a rights disaster if they're now going to continue this going forward. Leave them to it. Sorry, Dom, we're calling it a day.
On the other hand,
they could react the opposite for both responses.
Yeah.
If it does well, right, we're cashing in, let's push our version out there and market it like crazy. Or if it does terrible, we market ours from the POV of, you don't fuck with the OG Chuck.
Yeah.
And you make a thing of, oh yeah, fuck that.
Have him kill off a bunch of
boy.
good guy pretenders.
Yeah, so it's... Yeah, it could go either way.
Also, if it just hits fair middling, and it's just sort of fine, then you eventually just go... yeah. Marvel have got some movies coming out.
No, they don't.
Little movie called Endgame coming out in a couple weeks.
Don't. No, they've got
about
some are called Endgame and some called Spider-Man Far From Home, and then they're not making anything ever again.
So there have been rumblings recently.
God, could you imagine?
That Angelina Jolie is in talks to star in The Eternals.
Yes!
One of the more obscure Marvel properties that's been pushed for. It's even more obscure than the Inhumans.
Yeah.
And I would argue has even fewer fans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So...
Well, I don't know after the Inhumans TV series.
But Kevin Feige seems to be behind it, and he's talked about it openly. And yeah, apparently Angelina Jolie's not been confirmed whether she's doing it or not, but apparently she's in talks to do it. No one knows any of what's going on with this film.
Not even the people in it.
We know that they're after I don't know if she's signed on yet, but Chinese director Chloe Zhao is going to be directed.
What's she done before? What's her,
no, she's a Chinese director, so I'm assuming she's just done a lot of Chinese cinema. I don't recognise the name.
It would be, I know it sounds weird, it'd be a smart call considering China is like a third of the blockbuster market
China is
nowadays.
the film market.
To bring in a big Chinese director would be a great choice.
And
also it would add a different sensibility if she's not sort of directed too strictly to follow the MCU format. It would lend a different sensibility to the film, which would give it its own unique identity, which would be nice.
Chloe Zhao has directed not a lot. Few shorts. Songs My Brother Taught Me. So these are American films, so she's not a not a China.
She's not from the Chinese film market.
It doesn't seem to be so.
Okay.
Songs My Brother Taught Me is about a single mother living on a Native American reservation. And The Rider is a Chris Pratt movie. Is it? No, it isn't. He just looks like Chris Pratt. It's actually...
like the guy from Upgrade who looks like Tom Hardy.
Yeah, it's Brady...
in a film that's basically Venom.
It's Brady Gendron, but he looks like Chris Pratt at a glance.
Wow! Whoa! Yeah!
And
that's weird.
That's a Western about a cowboy has a head injury and undertakes a search for new identity and what it means to be a man in the heartland of America. That was 2017.
So basically, she's cut her teeth. She's not got a huge field experience, but again, that means a unique voice being brought in. They're not giving it to a
which is what something
to an old hat.
That's what they do. They find filmmakers who are coming off like the back of indie like character drama successes and go, "Hey, you want to direct this multi-million-dollar movie?" And I think they've like since come out that directors who are like, "Oh well, you know, I'm not sort of au fait with the action stuff and the special effects stuff," and now they're just like, "No, don't worry, we'll sort that out."
Which is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But it depends on if the director takes that on as let me work with you on it so I can learn.
I think it was Ava DuVernay who said that. Who said that was why she turned down Black Panther?
Yeah. Black Widow.
Black Widow. She turned down... She might turn down a couple of them, actually, at this point. Because they've been wanting to...
Oh, no, it's Thor 2.
No, she wasn't up for Thor 2.
Oh, no. It was up for Thor 2.
It was Wonder Woman director.
Patty Jenkins. Yes, because she
was on Thor 2, and I think her leaving is what soured Natalie Portman on the whole thing, I think. I believe. But yeah, the Eternals. So, who the fuck are the Eternals, Chris?
I'm going to turn it over to my correspondent, Matthew. Matthew, who the fuck are the Eternals?
So apparently, I don't fucking
know. Neil
know.
Gaiman did a run, I know that much.
Neil Gaiman and John Romita Jr. did a 7-issue miniseries in 2003.
Yeah.
Which is probably their most prominent run, if you can call it that, because it's 7 issues.
They're kind of, as far as I know, they're a kind of weird hybrid of, like, the Inhumans and the Greek Titans and this kind of thing. They're an ancient thing. They all have this very overwhelming power set, but some are better at some skills than the others are. So one of them's called Cersei.
Yes.
Who Angelina Jolie may or may not be playing.
So at the dawn of mankind...
Yeah.
The Celestials. You know the Celestials?
Yeah.
Like, Ego was a Celestial. And we saw the big sort of full-on Jack Kirby-style Celestial in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. Nowhere is the head of a dead Celestial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nezar...
Ego's a Celestial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nezar the Calculator.
Piss off.
Nezar the Calculator visited Earth and granted a certain number of prehistoric humanoids the ability to tap into cosmic power akin to the Infinity Stones. Using that power, the Eternals were able to augment their own life force, making them invulnerable and essentially immortal. And they can manipulate matter at the molecular level to do almost anything.
Almost anything?
Yes.
No, I'm not sold.
Apparently,
cancel the project.
Multiple screenwriters have been asked to take it on, and they are using Cersei as a focus. They want to focus it on Cersei.
That'll be Angelina. I've heard rumour that Hercules is in this.
An openly gay Hercules, which is cool.
Which is, and again, like, fucking totally fine if we're going into the Greek mythology thing and that everyone was bunking everybody.
Yeah.
So if anyone's got a problem with it, Like, oh, it's not realistic. A, Hercules was never real, and B, the time he's based on, motherfuckers, everybody were getting with everybody.
Apparently the current screenplay has been written by Matthew K. Firpo and Ryan Firpo.
Oh!
Who...
The brothers Firpo.
What else have they written?
I don't know if they're brothers, but it just sounds fun.
Not a lot. They've not written a lot. Not a lot of features, anyway. Shorts here and there. What's he done?
Many things. All of them sins.
Yeah, they've both written a lot of shorts, but no produced screenplays. So yeah. Matthew Firpo's directed a bunch of shorts and one feature.
Matthew Firpo. Again, unique voices.
Oh, actually, the feature is not even a... it's not even a feature, it's a documentary short.
Very unique voices.
Yeah, so I don't know what this is gonna be.
This now joins Black Panther 2, a Black Widow movie, and Captain Marvel 2, and Spider-Man 3, and Guardians 3 in the these are definitely getting made category.
Yeah.
Where we also have Doctor Strange 2, and...
which I think will happen.
And future Avengers films, and a possible Thor forquel in that these are possibly going to happen territory. Based on conversations and interviews and stuff.
People have been... The scuttlebutt since Zhao was announced as director has been that it's going to be a love story between Ikaris, a man fueled by cosmic energy, and Cersei, who relishes moving amongst humans. And in comics, Cersei is the most, like, she... Out of the Eternals, she, like, lives amongst humans. She was on the Avengers for ages in, like, the late 80s, early 90s.
And if she played by Angelina Jolie as well, that's an older female lead actor for this movie. I say that like, you know, she's an old lady. No, but Angelina Jolie's like nearing 50 now, right?
Yes.
So that would be a very like kind of wonderful step for them to take, to be like, oh, this big superhero franchise that's aimed primarily at families and kids, our lead is going to be like a 50-year-old female character. That's showing A, a lot of faith, and B, a head on their shoulders for actually wanting to try new things and you know, change the playing field a bit. Because, I mean, come on, Downey Jr. as your front runner for Iron Man, opening the cinematic universe, against every possible wish from Paramount.
Yeah.
But Jon Favreau going, no, we're doing it. We're doing it. And the way that they managed to convince Paramount is Downey Jr. took a massive amount off of his fee to do it. Because they were going to offer the fee of, you know, $800,000 or whatever to whoever played Tony Stark. And Favreau wanted Downey Jr. and Feige wanted Downey Jr. and Paramount did not want Downey Jr. And Feige and Favreau and Downey Jr. all talked, and Downey Jr. took the role for like $200,000.
Yeah.
And that reduction was enough to make Paramount go, all right, fine, fair enough, because that's $600,000 back into the film, so whatever, fine. Mm-hmm. And obviously Downey Jr. worked out that, but I get a bit at the back end, and for the sequel I get a minimum of blah.
And then also...
And it freaking worked in his favour.
And they spent that $600,000 on Terrence Howard.
Yeah. Who wanted way more for the sequel.
Oh, yeah.
And they went, yeah, no, that's unreasonable. So he walked.
So we'll get Don Cheadle instead. Who I think is generally a better actor.
Yeah, I mean, Terrence Howard's pretty great. But
he's no Don Cheadle.
He's no Don Cheadle.
But who is?
Don Cheadle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Eternals. Who the fuck knows what this even is or is going to be? I think this is one of those where it's going to be like...
That's the full title.
Yeah. Eternals, who the fuck knows what this is or what it's going to be? It's like Guardians. There's so little preconceived idea of what it is in the mind of the general public that you kind of got free reign to do whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. You can redefine it. You could completely recontextualise the comic book version if you've got a take that will work better for film.
Definitely the Guardians movies take cues from the Abnett and Lanning run, but only in like the broadest strokes possible.
Like the sense of humour is very different.
Yeah.
The team design is very, very different.
But the lineup is inspired by that. But I'm missing some folks, obviously.
Some folks.
Like
in this
Warlock.
lineup.
You're not going to get Warlock. You're not going to get Jack Flag.
That's a shame.
Cosmo.
Well, he made a cameo.
Who else was on it?
Really gonna let him look you like that?
Bug?
It's gross.
Oh, he's not called Bug, is he? He's called something. It's not Ambush Bug, that's DC.
That's DC. I love Ambush Bug.
Who doesn't?
Ambush Bug is in the final episode of Brave and the Bold.
Of course he is.
Voiced by Henry Winkler.
Oh, fantastic.
Because the final episode of Brave and the Bold is Batmite's decided he's bored with it and he wants to get it cancelled, so it'll be rebooted as a CGI gritty action series. So Ambush Bug decides to warn Batman and try and change the course of events before Batmite makes changes to the format that get it cancelled.
Sure. All right.
It's great, including recasting Aquaman so that the voice is different and it annoys people slightly.
Sure.
It's really... The last episode of Brave and the Bold is amazing.
Sure.
And it ends with the set being taken apart as they all have a rap drinks in the Batcave set.
Sure.
So good.
Sure.
So good.
Sure.
Do you know what else is good, Matt?
Tell me what else is good.
The Twilight Zone.
What?
A brand new series started this past week on CBS All Access, and we have got the first-hand review of two guys who haven't been able to see it because the UK has not been given a distribution plan or indeed a release date.
It's CBS
yet.
All Access, isn't it?
It is.
So
now,
it would make sense for it to be on Netflix along with Star Trek Discovery.
Exactly. Star Trek Discovery, when the season goes out on CBS All Access, week by week, the same happens on Netflix in the UK and throughout most of Europe. No news for the Twilight Zone just yet.
Maybe we're not getting it because we're bad people.
Maybe
Because we can't work out Brexit.
Maybe that's... oh, God. Oh, my God. Brexit is just one giant, elaborate Twilight Zone episode, isn't it?
Oh, I wish.
I think we all wish everything was Twilight Zone.
I do.
What know you of the Twilight Zone, Matthew?
I know...
Watsano?
The theme tune. I know the movie.
The movie's damn good.
I know that, but
even if John Landis killed people.
Yeah, John Landis killed people on that movie. But it still works. They could probably have taken his director's license away. Oh, you don't have director's license. I know that's not a thing, but you know what I mean. I know.
Sorry. No, we should, for legal reasons, we should clarify that. John Landis's negligence killed people.
Yeah, I don't think he's a murderer.
No, but his and several others in charge's actions and inactions led to the death of 2 children and a stuntman.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know.
But Blues Brothers, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
He's a damn good filmmaker, but Michael Jackson was a damn good musician. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So... you can't deny Michael Jackson was an amazing dancer.
You cannot.
He was an incredible performer. He was also a monster.
I know Terror at however many thousand feet.
Nightmare at 20,000 feet.
Oh, is it Nightmare?
Nightmare at 20,000 feet. Yeah. And it's remaking the movie.
Something on the wing.
And its spiritual sequel / homage in the upcoming series.
Yes, with Adam Scott.
Yeah. And it's beautiful remake in Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 4.
Hey.
Nightmare at 5.5 feet.
I know that the series' tendency for twist endings that have a moral. I know the plot of some episodes, but I don't know the names of them. So I know that there is an episode where there's a woman who wants to get plastic surgery, and it's like everyone's pig people.
There's more to it, but
I
know which one you're referring to. Yeah,
I know that there's the infamous episode where the dude breaks his glasses in the library after the nuclear apocalypse, and he's just like, "There was time now," because he wanted to read all his books and hate people. It's things like that.
Do you know who the actor was for that?
No,
Burgess Meredith.
Okay.
Who pops up several times over the course of the 5 seasons.
It was what, late 50s, early 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very tail end 50s. 5 seasons, each with about 30 plus episodes.
Yeah.
The least amount of season 4 at 18 episodes.
I know this is sacrilege to you, but I'm more familiar with The Outer Limits because...
No, that's not sacrilege. It's anthology TV.
Not because I prefer it,
beloved.
but because it got a prime time, the remake, the 90s remake, the revival got a primetime slot on BBC.
And also, it was a little bit more sci-fi leaning, The Outer Limits. Wasn't
Yeah.
it? And you were a child of the X-Files, so like
Yes,
that was your jam.
That's what the
son.
'90s relaunch was
off the back of.
Yeah.
See, I was always a kid watching. If I did get around to those later night anthology things, it was like Tales from the Crypt.
See, we didn't have access to any of that stuff.
And kids shows, Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I was...
Oh, yeah, I love those.
Yeah, so that kind of... Twilight Zone naturally led to me. Twilight Zone is something I adore. Like, I really love it. And when it finally hit UK DVD and Blu-ray about 6 years ago, I was like, right, now is the chance for me to fill in the 95% gap of what I haven't seen of that original run.
I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of The Twilight Zone.
Well, after this podcast, we might just have to watch one before you head home.
I can't. I've got to get home and make dinner.
We might have to look at the front cover of a Blu-ray before you head home.
Yes. That's probably more like it.
But it is amazing. I adore it. It's one of those things like Scarface or Psycho or Citizen Kane, where before you actually get round to watching it, you feel you've already watched it.
Yeah, it's cultural osmosis.
Yeah, it's just there. It's in your thing. And I get, of course, we're both kids of the 90s.
Yeah.
The Simpsons was probably our introduction to the Twilight Zone before we even knew it. The Simpsons homages and references to the Twilight Zone so much throughout the 90s.
Most of what I know about the Twilight Zone, I know from its appearances and references in other media.
Oh god, the Simpsons is absolutely chock full of it.
Yeah,
but it is elsewhere. For those who don't know and are curious about the new show and are like, wait, what's the point of it? The Twilight Zone is an anthology series of fantasy, horror, sci-fi, and fairy tale stories that are presented by Rod Sterling, creator of the Twilight Zone. Will be back after the break with these messages or something.
These messages from our sponsor.
After these messages.
Cancer cigarettes.
Well, in the later seasons, the ads bleed into the end narration.
Yeah.
The teaser for the next episode, which is so funny. But Rod Sterling. Rod Sterling? It's Rod
Sterling.
I was having a moment.
Serling.
Rod Sterling, creator of the Twilight Zone, and not Sterling. Well,
Jim Sterling.
Old Rod.
Old Roddy Serling.
Old Roddy boy.
Rowdy Roddy Serling.
Was the guy was a prolific creator. Like, he worked on the Planet of the Apes TV series. He created the Night Gallery is one of his.
Yeah, well, Night Gallery was a similar thing, wasn't it?
Again, that the Simpsons kind of parody. Like, one of the Halloween Treehouse of Horror episodes is Bart walking up and down a room of portraits.
It was also one of the
story, which is a direct homage to the Night Gallery.
It was also one of the big inspirations for
the Twilight Zone,
for X-Files.
Boom! There you go.
X-Files, that Night Gallery, Night Stalker, Contact the Night Stalker, things like that were very much inspirations for that, because Night Gallery was 69 to 73.
Yeah, it was a later one, but it's that it sort of cemented his style. He'd been doing radio, theatre, and television for donkey's years, and his entire thing was a focus on really solid storytelling with shifting genres that would kind of take you on a journey. He wanted to always showcase really strong acting and a really interesting premise, and tell it in the most condensed way possible, so that by the end of that half hour, you're like, I could totally watch a series of that. But it's like, we don't need a series. So what we need to say, next week, we're doing this. Next week, we're doing that. Anthology television kind of really kicked off in the 50s, especially stateside, because of the Twilight Zone. That sort of, like, brought it in. The TV channels, boys and girls, always used to have, like, kind of, those... play a week, like the play on Sunday, where it'd be like on Sunday nights on a channel there'd be a teleplay. But the Twilight Zone was we're going to be a whole series of that shit, motherfuckers, and we're going to keep showing it. And it's iconic and notorious for a reason, because it scared people, it inspired people, it was sometimes frightening, it was sometimes campy on purpose, sometimes it was campy because it's aged a little bit, sometimes it's even more frightening because the thing it was playing with has come true.
That's the real fucker, isn't it?
It's full of social commentary. It's wonderful. If you ever get the chance to watch some of it, please do. Now, the box sets are all about to go up a little bit in price because of the new version, but do seek it out where you can. there have been 3 iterations visually since.
Yeah, 59 to 64 series. It was an 80s series.
It was an 80s run, early 2000s.
2000
series,
series, which was 2 seasons. And then there's the film
Twilight Zone, the movie. From the 80s, which is made by some iconic filmmakers, some of whom haven't led to the deaths of children in a helicopter accident. But it's a wonderful film that is made sort of from the POV of these directors who grew up loving the show. Like Spielberg, Dante, like they're contributors to it, who just wanted to basically show their love of it by loosely remaking some of the stories with a new wraparound sort of visual style to tell the tale.
Yes.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. And if you want more of it, there's the radio plays that Rod Serling, creator of the Twilight Zone, also worked on, that are on the DVD and Blu-ray box sets. The Blu-rays are incredible. I've got all 5 seasons on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Every episode has about 18 bonus features.
Jesus.
Not necessarily related to the episode. Some of them are a radio play from 20 years prior that was the first appearance of the lead actor in that play. Some of them are things that Rod Serling worked on. Some of them are a random episode of a TV series from earlier in the 50s that the same director directed. It's this wonderful little, hey, have a little lesson. Like, if you sat down and went, I'm going to dedicate an hour to this episode, you watch the episode, and then you've got a bunch of little, see what that was. Oh, no, that came from there. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this director worked on this. Oh, that's funny. I've never seen that before. It's amazing. They're so worth the money. Especially if you're a telebuff. There's other versions of it as well. There's the comic book version that started up a few years ago. There's a few comic book versions, but a few years ago, JMS, J. Michael Straczynski, did a version, which is pretty good. I think it was for Boom Studios.
That sounds right. Boom, Dynamite, and IDW are where you find the most of the licensed stuff.
It was pretty good. I collected the first storyline and the first annual, and I was like, ooh, I'll have to pick this up when it's in a collection. There's the ride at several Disneylands, the Tower of Terror, which is a freaking Easter egg fest if you're a fan of the show. Oh my god, it's full of that shit.
Yeah.
It's a frightening drop ride that's one of the most disturbing things I've ever been on. I love it.
Ooh.
It freaks me out. I'm not good with up and down jolts on rides. Going up and down a roller coaster, yeah. But if I'm on something that lurches, those towers where you just people sat in a circle and it goes up and down.
Yeah, they got one at Blackpool.
I've been on one of them and I'm never going to go on one again.
I like those.
They're too much for my tummy.
Oh.
The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is one of those rides.
Too much for your tummy.
But I will stomach it because of the storytelling and the atmosphere of that ride. It's so good and it's full of so many Easter eggs. But the latest iteration, CBS All Access, it's hosted by Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Of Key and Peele and Mad TV fame. Oh, and some films called Get Out on Us. But, Get Us Out! And Keanu. Let's not forget Keanu. Essentially, the Key and Peele movie. But, good sir, without looking at it on your phone, just in case you see the information as you scroll by.
I'm just looking up to see, I'm just trying to find if there's a...
Any, as we record info on distribution.
Yeah.
Any?
No.
Damn it. Rod Serling hosted The Twilight Zone.
Yes, he did.
In the 50s.
Yes, he did.
John Peel is hosting it in 2019.
Yes.
Who hosted The Twilight Zone? Who was the host of The Twilight Zone in the 2000s reboot?
Forrest Whitaker.
It was Forrest Whitaker. Who was the host of The Twilight Zone in the 80s reboot?
That I don't know.
There was not one. But there was narration. The opening titles has narration from Serling, but there was no host per se.
Was Serling still alive at that point?
He was, yes, and I believe he did some advisory stuff on the show, but he wasn't like a performer.
Was he in retirement essentially?
Yeah. Rod Serling famously opened and closed the original Twilight Zone, folks. Have you ever seen anybody parody it with narration at the beginning? Someone in a suit in the foreground, talking to camera,
like we've done.
Yeah. for the Five Who Fans short film, The Crimson Zone.
Yeah.
Once upon a time,
it was Dan Sheridan.
Dan Sheridan did it. But we shot chunks in it as well. We were in it. But Once Upon a Time Lash. Search it up on YouTube. It's our loving sort of parody / homage to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Specifically, their infamous living doll episodes.
I like the fact there's multiple living doll episodes.
There's 2 with ventriloquist dummies in them.
Excellent.
Both the same prop redress.
Oh.
But very different stories. one with a porcelain doll, which is Talkie Tina.
Oh.
Starring, oh god, what's his name?
I don't know.
Terry Savalas.
Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas. Kojak.
Kojak, yeah.
Which inspired the first Sabrina the Teenage Witch Halloween special, the one with the Molly dolly.
Oh.
Sabrina had some scary Halloween episodes. Like, they were actually kind of freaky for a sitcom with a laugh track.
The Netflix Sabrina is definitely takes the horror up a notch, but it's also, there's something about it that just puts me off.
Okay.
Probably the way they shoot the lead actress in sort of semi-nudity.
Hey everybody, ain't she hot? Isn't it a
like
spin-off from Riverdale as well? Like, she features in an episode of Riverdale briefly.
Don't believe so.
I'm sure she pops up in it somewhere.
I don't think it is. The comics are...
When did we get
related.
in the Riverdale adaptation of Archie versus Predator? That's what I want to know. But you may have noticed I quizzed you a little bit on the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, quiz me a little on the Twilight Zone.
And
right.
we may not be able to see the new series, as it were. So it's kind of like crossing through a door into the fifth dimension. It is sort of an unknown thing. Matt, as such, to celebrate the complete lack of information of the new Twilight Zone that we can disperse to our listeners, I want to welcome you. You unlock this door with the key to imagination, Matt.
Okay.
To a quiz I like to call The Twilight Unknown.
Okay, what's this?
I'm going to read you the synopsis of 10 Twilight Zone episodes.
Okay.
You've got to tell me if it's a real episode of The Twilight Zone.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay.
Or a made-up episode of The Twilight Zone.
Okay.
For each one, you are allowed one clue.
Okay.
So you can ask me one question about it, or ask for a clue about it.
All right, I'm looking forward to this.
So, let's give it a try, shall we? Number 1.
Okay.
This is the synopsis. I'm going to read it to you. I want you to tell me if you think this is a real episode of The Twilight Zone or a made-up episode of The Twilight Zone, and for why.
Okay.
And if you want a clue, just let me know.
Okay.
A power failure causes the residents of a suburban neighbourhood to suspect one another of being monsters from outer space, planning an invasion. That's a power failure causes the residents of a suburban neighbourhood to suspect one another of being monsters from outer space, planning an invasion.
That sounds like some Cold War era paranoia fuel. I'm going to say that's a real episode.
That's some pretty nice observation, right? Yeah. You would be correct. That is the season 1 story. The monsters are due on Maple Street, which is freaking great. It's so good. It's just a power outage. People start to thingy, but a young lad in the neighbourhood sort of mentions that he saw lights in the sky, and it starts to build up this thing of some of the parents maybe and the paranoia just builds and builds, and they don't straight up discuss the Cold War, but there is some nods to I think someone at one point is accused of being a commie, so there's a bit of that in there. But the wonderful spoiler alert for a 70-year-old episode of television, the wonderful reveal of this is at the very end, as they start to descend into essentially mob violence and the neighbourhood begins to tear itself apart, it pulls out to the observation deck of an invisible spacecraft.
And they're being observed
on the hills outside, and they're being observed by these humanoid aliens that are like, right, we've set the cat amongst the pigeons. We'll observe how easily they can be torn apart from within, and we'll plan our invasion.
Nice.
Their 5-year plan begins there.
Nice.
And then it pulls out and implies that it's happening to several small towns in North America.
Nice.
It's ooh! So again, it's just a commentary on paranoia and...
I need to watch me some Twilight.
It's so good. So that's 1 point. Ding, ding, ding. Get your finger up, because I'll totally forget. Okay.
1 point.
Summary. Number 2. Is this a real episode of The Twilight Zone? Or Twilight Unknown? In the year 2046, a convicted man serving his sentence on an uninhabited asteroid is given a female robot for companionship. In the year 2046, a convicted man serving his sentence on an uninhabited asteroid is given a female robot for companionship.
That's definitely an episode of something. I don't know if it's the Twilight Zone, so I'm going to say yes.
What makes you think it's a real bit of telly?
Because I've heard about that. I'm sure I've heard that plot before.
Are you sure you're not just thinking of Passengers, which stars Chris Pratt as a man in space and Jennifer Lawrence as a lady who isn't that talented, so maybe considered robotic? But she's so relatable, Matt. Yeah. She's so relatable.
She eats chips just like everyone else. No, that rings a bell. It rings a bell.
Keep in mind, Twilight Zone did delve into more science fiction-y territory aside from sort of horror tales.
Yeah. It rings a bell. It could be Outer Limits, but I think it's Twilight Zone. But it does definitely rings a bell.
You're going for Twilight Zone?
I'm going to go for Twilight Zone.
You would be correct. It is the season 1 story, The Lonely. Starring Jack Warden and Jean Marsh.
Jean Marsh of Sarah Kingdom fame.
Yeah. And it's an uncomfortable one.
I could imagine it is uncomfortable.
Not in the way that a modern retelling of that story could be, because exactly how a modern retelling would lean into it.
Yeah.
But it's uncomfortable in terms of just like, it really does explore kind of the depths of human despair. And what it means to sort of force yourself into feeling something when you really, like, you have nothing but yourself for your own company.
So it's not quite as uncomfortable as William Shatner teaching aliens and robots how to love in Star Trek.
Hey, in the 60s, that was considered sexy. That girdle was hot. Are you ready for your third episode?
Yes.
Keep in mind, it's 10 of these, and there's not many falsities. So, gotta have your wits about you for this shit.
I got my wits about me. Wits are about me.
Is this an episode of The Twilight Zone or some Twilight unknown? A reclusive bookworm discovers the key to everlasting happiness inside his own pocket. Some fairy tale shit going on right there.
That's some fairy tale shit.
A reclusive bookworm discovers the key to everlasting happiness inside his own pocket.
Is the key to everlasting happiness the key to a library after a nuclear holocaust?
No.
Does he wear glasses?
No, it is not all the time in the world.
I'm going to say that's a little vague. So
like these are all based on official summaries. So if they're vague, they're quite possibly vague because that's what
for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not very much to go on, so I'm gonna take a shot in the dark,
like Clouseau.
And I'm gonna say that is a Twilight Zone.
Do you want me to tell you what the key to happiness was?
What?
A hole in his pocket, and he starts playing with his junk. That
was
a made up
Twilight
one.
Unknown.
It was Twilight Unknown, I'm afraid.
No!
Twilight Unknown. The key to happiness was his own penis.
Oh no!
He's a reclusive bookworm.
Oh no!
He's not after dates. He's staying in, jerking off.
Oh no!
That's two so far. 2 correct.
That's
2 out of 10.
That's horrendous.
It's pretty bad. Whoever wrote them is disgusting. Okay. So, here we go. Is this a real Twilight Zone or a Twilight Unknown?
All right.
Remember, you get a clue.
Okay.
If you ever want clues, you just need to ask me.
Okay.
A DNA pod experiment to find the most evil creature alive reveals it to have been man all along.
That's a Twilight Zone.
What makes you think it's a Twilight Zone?
Because it sounds like a Twilight Zone.
I mean, to be fair, that the twist is in that summary.
Yeah.
It is not a Twilight Zone.
Is it an Outer Limits?
However, it is a Twilight Zone-esque thing because it's a parody. It's an episode of Futurama's The Scary Door, which is a Twilight Zone parody.
Okay, all right.
In that, though, it's told really bluntly. It's like it's the most DNA, the most evil creature known to mankind. And a dude steps out and goes, "Hello." It was man.
It was man.
All along.
Okay, all right.
So,
see, that's what I mean. It's cultural osmosis.
It's cultural osmosis.
I know more about Twilight Zone from its parodies than I do about Twilight Zone.
But it's beautiful, right?
It's beautiful.
They run that closely. It's kind of scary.
So beautifully simple.
Okay, that was number 4. Number 5. When a little girl disappears from her bedroom without a trace, her parents call their friend to help investigate her disappearance.
That's not an episode of Twilight Zone. That's the disappearance of Madeline McCann. is on Netflix.
That was so quick. Oh, it's not an episode of the Twilight Zone, it's the Madeline McCann documentary.
Yeah, give us a clue. Let's see what kind of clues you've got for me. Have I broken you? I'm sorry.
The girl goes missing when she's left alone for a short period of time.
Yeah, it's still Madeline McCann. No, I'm going to say that's Twilight Zone.
It is a Twilight Zone.
Yeah, tell me about this episode of Twilight Zone.
It is indeed a Twilight Zone. It's the season 3 story Little Girl Lost.
Well,
which
of course it
is most famous for, again, inspiring. No. Jokes aside, and written Maddie McCann underneath.
No!
Because I was gonna lead it towards that.
No!
But it's true. In terms of our young listeners, the Simpsons Halloween special, The Treehouse of Horror, where Homer goes into a 3D dimension outside of our own, is based on the Twilight Zone Little Girl Lost. The friend in question, played by Charles Aidman, is a physicist. And they can hear her voice in the walls. This also inspired the basic premise for Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Which Spielberg noted during that film's production. This one is wonderful because it's eerie as sin. It's already the parental fear, unless you're a McCann, of your child, going missing out of your eye line for just a moment. You've all seen the documentaries. But they begin to hear a voice through the walls. So their physicist friend helps them out, and it's this wonderfully tight little, just sort of thriller that's really distressing because this young girl who's an adorable actor, she's brilliant in it.
Yeah,
just goes, but they can hear her, and she's calling for help. So that they hear in certain walls, they're drawing chalk outlines on the walls of a door because it's essentially the story explains to the then American audience the idea of existing within a different physical space, but still kind of being here. So it's a bit transcendental, kind of TARDIS-y sort of logic going on with this one.
Yeah.
The dog goes missing as well. And they get pulled out just in time by the father who rope round the waist like Bart in the Treehouse of Horror. Goes in, they find it at a weak point, and he goes in to get the daughter, and some trippy shit. Sort of mirrors the title sequence of the Twilight Zone, the latter title sequence, where it's got the eye and the equations and things like that. But it's spooky. If you happen to go to Disneyland Paris anytime soon, and you go in the Disneyland Paris Hollywood Studios park version of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, the gantry before you get in the lifts there, it's a double level. There's a ground floor and a first floor for that section, as opposed to the Florida park. If you go to the top floor, angle round the back wall for a bit and look for a chalk outline. If you stay there long enough and listen to the wall,
then you'll find Buzzy.
You can hear Buzzy's not in Paris.
He is now.
You can hear a young girl's voice calling for her dad.
Oh,
it's really good. Seriously, those rides, man, full of Easter eggs. They're beautiful.
Disneyland Paris, aren't
It's so good. I love it. Okay.
All right.
Your sixths: Twilight Zone or Twilight Unknown. Toby Jones or Noby Jones.
3 for 5 at the moment, so not great.
Doing pretty. No, it's still all to play for.
Twilight Zone or Twilight Unknown.
After being fixed by a strange TV repairman, an unhappy couple's TV set shows them hurting each other. Got real dark, kids.
I think that's a Twilight Zone, but I think it's the latest. I think it's one of the revival seasons. I don't think it's the original.
You can get a clue if you want.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the TV repairman is a tubby little cubby all stuffed with fluff.
I'm sorry, he's a what?
He's a tubby little cubby all stuffed with fluff.
I have no idea what you mean.
All he wears is a little red jumper. That's all he wears.
Is Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah. Winnie the Pooh repairs their TV and then it shows them images of them hurting each other.
No, that's not. It's not Winnie the Pooh.
It is.
It's not.
It's Winnie the Pooh.
It's not.
It's Winnie the Pooh.
This is not a
Winnie the
Twilight
Pooh
Zone, then.
is a TV repairman.
No, someone who plays Winnie the Pooh in something is a TV repairman.
It depends on how you look at things. I don't remember how method your technique is, but that's up to you, really. Winnie the Pooh repairs a TV and the TV shows a couple hurting each other.
This is... What? It's a Twilight Zone. You're having me on.
This is indeed a Twilight Zone episode. It's season 5's What's in the Box.
What is in the box?
That is straight up the name of the episode.
What's in the box?
So prolific.
What's in the box?
It used the name of a cult. It used a cultural exclaimed sentence phenomenon from a late 90s thriller.
What's in the box?
40 years before.
What's in the box?
Yeah, the couple are played by William Demarest and Joan Blondell, and the TV repairman is played by television actor of the 50s and voiceover artist who got around a lot, Sterling Holloway.
Yeah.
Who was the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it was the Winnie the Pooh voice.
And it's so... If you've ever seen Sterling Holloway in live action, have you ever seen him in any shows?
I think I have,
It's so distracting, because that's just his voice.
Oh.
Like, Pooh's put on a bit. You know what I mean? And the freaking the dove in Dumbo and the snake in Jungle Book and the mouse in Aristocats, like, they're all kind of him affecting lisps or mannerisms.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh's just kind of his voice. So it's really, really weird.
Okay.
This one gets, again, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I thought it was
psychological and physical domestic violence is part of the story.
Yeah. Because for 1963, that's quite a bit. I think.
It's heavy. It's heavy shit. But again, in that Twilight Zone way, and I won't say why it's happening, and I won't say how it's happening. But by the end, it's you take some away. I don't want to say too much about these stories.
Don't say too much about it.
I want you to check them out, folks.
I'm going to try and hunt it down.
Okay. Congratulations, you got past the Winnie the Pooh question.
Oh, God.
Number 7. Good sir.
Yeah?
Everyone has their very own pair of wings. Except Arthur, played by Burgess Meredith, who is doomed to scrabble around like a common grub.
This is a Twilight Zone. It's got Burgess Meredith in it. Is he the Twilight?
Some sound logic, to be fair.
Is he the Twilight Zone or Batman 66? And I don't think it's Batman
penguins
66.
can't fly. So...
Okay. It's Twilight Zone.
You think it's Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
I'll give you a clue if you want.
Okay.
Hilarity and morality ensues.
It's a Twilight Zone then.
It's not a Twilight Zone. I made that one up.
It's an Outer Limits.
No, but...
You just made it up wholesale.
I made it up wholesale,
Okay.
but the Burgess Meredith ruse worked.
You bastard!
But it sounds like it could be, right?
Yeah.
Like in a world where
That's why I
everyone
said
can
it was a
fly
Twilight Zone.
and one man can't, and it's about how he deals with it. Like, that's totally something they would do.
That's a Twilight Zone. It's just not been made yet.
True. All right, Jordan Peele, if you want to hit me up.
But not with Burgess Meredith,
But not Burgess Meredith.
obviously.
It'd be a very cold performance. Actually, technically, it'd be more grounded.
I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
Hey, Matt.
What?
Is this a Twilight Zone or a Twilight Unknown?
Probably. Either one.
A wax museum curator lovingly maintains wax figures of 5 infamous killers in his basement.
This isn't a Twilight Zone. This is House of Wax.
After the museum discards them. When he loses his job, his enemies are mysteriously murdered.
That's a Twilight Zone.
What makes you think it's a Twilight Zone?
Because it's a fucking Twilight Zone.
Are you
Wax
sure?
murderers in the basement of a thingamabob.
Now, to be
Of a
fair,
museum.
there were a few wax mannequin themed episodes of Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
The most famous one being the series 2 story, I think, After Hours, which is about a woman working in a department store.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's pretty freaking eerie the way it's
Yeah.
done, because it's not like, oh, they're mannequins. And the twist in that one is so good. and really eerie. And it means if you ever spend time in a department store as it's closing, or if you're closing up a department store because you work in one, you will never feel the same again. You'll be really unnerved.
I mean, at this point,
if you're around any
the way the
mannequins.
economy is, if you're closing up a department store, you ain't opening it back up again. So, and you've already sold off all the mannequins.
But do these mannequins contain mannequins of famous killers? That's the question.
You know what? I'm actually going to say no, that's not Twilight. No. Serial killers weren't really a thing until like the mid to late 70s.
Well, the wording is infamous killers. So you could be talking like Vlad the Impaler and Jack the Ripper.
Vlad the Impaler?
No, but like, you know, people known as murderers.
They call me Vlad
like...
the Poker. I like to poke them with a stick.
Blair. Dracula never said Blair, but Vlad the Impaler fucking did.
Blair.
When he was throwing up the blood of his victims that he overindulged on for his din-dins.
I would like to say... it's a Twilight Zone.
Season 4's the new exhibit. It's a Twilight Zone. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
I win!
Dun-dun-dun-dun. It's really,
I don't win.
It is really creepy. Like, it is damn creepy.
Sounds creepy. The way you described it to me makes it sound creepy.
And is semi-homaged in Psychoville Series 2. There's one with the... David speaks to the wax thingies like Ed Gein and stuff. It's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really creepy. And they perform a musical number because, of course, they do.
Because it's Psychoville.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
God, what's the line? Sir Richard Attenborough played me in a movie about my life. Who did you get? Martin Clunes on ITV.
Don't George High.
It's great.
Yep, Bath Murderer.
Number 9.
Yes.
In the home stretch, sir.
Yes.
Everything to play for. Nothing to lose.
Good, I like those stakes.
Everything to win. Nothing to gain.
Yeah.
Is this a Twilight Zone or a Twilight Unknown?
Yes.
An underwater civilization is discovered after pollution from the surface world leads to the death of their king. You're picturing it in your head already, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got that wistful look, everybody.
Yeah.
He's got that wistful look. He's picturing that kind of story.
It doesn't sound like a Twilight Zone. It sounds like a...
I don't know. I mean, come on. One of the most famous episodes is called "To Serve Man," and it's again, Treehouse of Horror did a version of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally about aliens coming to Earth and offering peace and prosperity, and it becomes more clear over the course of it that it's quite possible they're after a much more carnal and
carnal?
delicious.
Not carnal.
Well,
it's not sexual.
Yeah, they got off on it.
It's Twilight.
The same way you do when you take a bite of a really nice burger.
I want to say it's Twilight Zone, but the thing that puts me off is budget. But you could do a lot back then. If you
I
had
can give you a clue.
Money. No, it's Twilight Zone. It's Twilight Zone.
It's a Twilight Unknown.
Oh!
There is an episode in Series 4 that is sort of similar, an unearthed civilization, but the clue, had you gone for the clue, was he died when a beer ringlet caught around his neck. No, I never said that they didn't have thin heads, but yeah, so... But again, it's just a Twilight Zone that hasn't been made yet.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Get on it, Jordan.
Come on, Mr. Peel. Give us a ring.
Year of the Peel.
I'm very free. Okay.
So free.
Matthew.
Yes.
It's time for the final. Twilight Zone?
Yes.
Or Twilight Unknown?
Okay.
A woman discovers that the man she's fallen in love with is actually a sexy, brooding immortal. The word sexy may have been added by me.
That's a Twilight Unknown. That's, in fact, Twilight. Does that count?
You get it right and wrong.
Oh!
At the same time.
Oh!
In a Twilight Zone-esque twist.
Oh!
You have indeed just described the plot of the movie and book Twilight.
Yes. And it's also a Twilight Zone.
But
the
Twilight Zone Season 1 episode Long Live Walter Jameson features a history professor played by Kevin McCarthy who is revealed to have lived for thousands of years.
Thousands of years?
Yeah, and it gets brought up. This is one of my favourite episodes of the Twilight Zone.
Because you should like Kevin McCarthy.
He's very... He's a handsome man, but he's very sort of like, that's a good girl, like slapping her on the arse. He's like the history professor at this college, and he's got engaged to one of his students who just left. Because, of course, in America, in college, you leave at 21, 22, whatever. So.
Yeah, that's still a bit skeezy, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's not that he's, like, in his 40s. He's thousands of years old.
Yeah.
He's just got engaged to her, and her dad has come to meet him and have, like, dinner, because she's told him all these wonderful things about him. And her dad's very traditional. You know, sort of like, good man, look after my girl.
Yeah.
You're going to treat her right and show her how to cook and clean and put her in a place and all that sort of stuff. You're like, oh, God. And the guy's very kind of pipe smoky. He sort of looks like Gregory Peck in Mockingbird.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's got that.
What, the dad or the 1,000-year-old man?
The college professor, a fiancé of his daughter. And then the guy's like, right, I wanted to meet you properly for a reason, and it's not to speak to you about the upcoming wedding or to seek or to give you my approval. This is a photograph of my father serving in the First World War. In his regiment. That young man there is you, isn't it? You look no different from in that photograph. And he starts to follow it up and he starts to piece things together. Because he talks about how, like, his dad knew this guy who he'd known for most of his life who seemingly never aged a day. And he starts to put it together that there's something about you that's wrong. And he's like, I just want to know what the hell are your intentions with my daughter. And the guy points out that it genuinely is romance. He just wants to be with her. Like, he is cursed to keep walking the earth, but he wants, there's nothing sinister. He's not. I think they even sort of suggest like, do you need people to stay alive? And he's sort of like, I'm not some kind of vampire. Like, I'm not. It's this whole thing of like, okay. And it gets this weird point where the father, I think he kills the dad or he knocks him out or something. But by the end of it, this elderly woman shows up on the doorstep, breaks into his office, holds the guy at gunpoint, and then shoots him dead because she was his wife 60 years prior, who's discovered that he's still alive, and as far as she's concerned, betrayed her, and she wants to end it before he hurts anyone else. So they play on it's the whole play on the immortality thing. Like, he talks about how, like, it's a lonely existence, and but there's the whole thing of like, well, what do people really mean to you? What does romance mean to you?
Yeah.
Like, do you genuinely regret, like, not being able to be with people, or is it just something to entertain you for a few decades?
Yeah.
It's a really good story. And again, I may have sort of explained the ending. I've not explained the twist of it all.
Okay.
It's really good. Long live Walter Jameson. It's a really good story from season 1. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You unlocked the door with the key to imagination. Is there a dimension of sight? A dimension of sound, a dimension of mind. And do you know what your prize is?
Nothing. I get to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, alright. I was going to give you this hat, but I suppose...
No, it's been on your head.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Do you know what else has been on my mind?
I don't know, but you're going to give us some sort of Rod Serling-esque outro detailing, I have no doubt.
No, but I am going to smoke heavily while I wrap up the episode.
Alright, wrap it up. Wrap us up.
If you want to get in touch with us, you can do, you little shits. BigDamnContact@gmail.com. Next week, we're going to be talking about Shazam! And Pet Sematary, the new remake. So if you want to get in on that shit and tell us what you think of those movies, get in, BigDamnContact@gmail.com. If you're a fan of the Twilight Zone, or you have a little look at it based on this episode and you give it a try for the first time, there's several versions you can check out, then we want to know what you thought all about it. And you can get in touch with us on Twitter, of course. Twitter, Big Damn Cast.
Big Damn Cast.
Follow the adventures in backlogging and the occasional mobile gaming over the next few weeks. It's going to be much more sporadic while I'm away. Twitch.tv/Big Damn Stream.
The Big Damn Stream.
You can also touch us sensually on YouTube. Big Damn Channel. And if you're listening to this on SoundCloud or iTunes, hey, guess what? We're available on the other. Check us out there too. It's free and easier for you to put on your phones. But until then, Matthew Watson.
Yes.
A man plagued by a gentleman full of questions and no answers.
Yes.
Driven insane by the very notion that one day he'll be talking into the empty void that is the Twilight Zone. Rod Serling, the creator of the Twilight Zone, will be back after these uncomfortable messages about sitcoms where they have a black servant in the family. That's on the Blu-ray. It's really weird. We'll see you later, everybody!
No!
American sitcoms from the 50s were really racist.
I think all sitcoms from the 50s were really racist.
How dare you? In Britain, it was the 70s.
Hey!
We'll see you later!
Bye!
Bye! Bye! Seriously, the way Leonard Rossiter's character talks to the guy in Rising Damp is horrendous. Bye! Bye, everyone! Bye! Bye! Don't watch the thing with Alf Garnett in it. Bye! Bye!